Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Now today I thought it was time to bring back the Tirus show. Now, one caveat with this is that I'm not going to bring it back on a weekly basis again because I obviously failed to do so, struggling to find consistent things to talk about every week, depending on the time of the year, is quite difficult actually. So this version of the show will be as and when there's actually something worth talking about. Now, there's plenty to talk about at the minute. So we'll kick this off straight away and welcome to the Tirus Show. Now, Xbox has had to release the price for the Xbox Series S after a significant leak showing the trailer for said device. Now, we'll talk about this first. I'm seeing a lot of people who either are ill-informed or just haven't bothered to read up on this device. Now, the difference between the Series S and the Series X is different than the difference between the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, whereas one offers a significantly better experience than the other. Whereas this time round, the Series S is geared up to give you the same gameplay experience, ray tracing, 120 FPS support. I say that loosely, support, but at a reduced price. Now, the reason I'm saying, even discussing this, is that I'm hearing people and seeing people state online, and I'm actually hearing a lot of people in work saying that the Series S, it's £250, it's weak as pish, blah blah blah, it's not worth getting, which can't be farther from the truth. Now, the Series S is designed to give you the same gameplay experience as the Series X at a much lower resolution. So instead of it rendering the games at 4K and needing all that extra horsepower, I mean, that's why the Series X is 12 teraflops, has all that RAM. It needs it to render these next generation games at 4K, at least 60, right? The Series S is geared up to be a 1440p console. So it doesn't need the same monster of a GPU to meet those targets. And it has the exact same processor, clocked the same, I do believe, as the Series X. It has 10 gigs of RAM instead of the, I believe, 16 in the Series X. I'll have to look that up. But, as I say, it doesn't need them. It's not £250 because it is the cheap as chips, weak ass little console that the Xbox One S ended up being. It doesn't have a disk drive as well. It's another thing. So it's probably geared up more towards people that want a next generation experience but can't quite afford a next generation experience. So instead of having a really beefy PC or buying the Series X or even buying the PlayStation 5 once the price for that's finally revealed too, there is something there for them. And with Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, there's no shortage of games. Now, going into this, I would like to mention about Xbox All Access. If you can't afford the lump sum for the console, you can pay off the console. Now, I'm not going to go into prices and numbers because I've forgone them. Yes, professional, I know. But you can pay your device off, and while you're paying it, you get Game Pass Ultimate. So that £12 a month subscription while you're paying off this console comes with it. So instead of, say, paying the console now this isn't the actual price. Say you're paying £25 a month for the Xbox Series S. It's far more affordable if it's just £25 a month and Game Pass Ultimate is included in that £25, which it is. That's far more affordable and far more appealing than, say, £25 a month and then the subscription on top. So for me, Xbox knocked this one out of the park. There'll be a lot of people that want to game, that like gaming, that can't necessarily afford 450 for the Series X. Now, I'm not saying this is going to allow Xbox to absolutely obliterate PlayStation this generation. I mean, there's many reasons why PlayStation always seems to sell so well. Exclusives being one of them, but that hasn't always been the case. You know, there has been some excellent Xbox exclusives. 360 ones, Xbox One has actually had its fair share of decent ones. But going forward with the monster that is the Series X and the absolute affordable yet still incredibly powerful Series S, Sony has an absolute fight on its hands, and I dare say a fight for its life. If PlayStation ends up, really struggling, so on and so forth, I mean, Sony's not the company it used to be, money wise, financial wise, stuff like that. And if push came to shove, I dare say Microsoft could swallow a bigger hit on the console just to sell them cheaper than their competitor than I dare say Sony can do. So it's going to be interesting to see what Sony comes out with now that the Xbox has blown the cobwebs, as they say, and unveiled price. So just basically, the Series S is a monstrous computer. Anybody that I've talked to and conversed with about the RDNA 2 stuff, which is built into the Series S and the Series X, the Series S is 4 teraflops, but those 4 teraflops of RDNA 2 are better than the 6 teraflops of the old architecture, which is in the Xbox One X. So, people asking the question, should you buy an Xbox One X or a Series S? I would wholeheartedly recommend you just buy the Series S. You're going to get a next generation experience. Fair enough, you won't get the 4K. The Series S has a hardware upscaler built into it. So if you plug it into a 4K TV, it's still going to look gorgeous, but it's not going to be rendering it at 4K. Now, I will talk about the Series X in another video. Right now, there hasn't been the same sort of new information about the Series X. I mean, we already know so much about it. It's a beast, and it's going to be Xbox's premium device. So, moving on, we had a 4-hour Call of Duty stream. I haven't completely watched it all. I'll just be frank. After Black Ops 4, I lost any and all faith in Treyarch doing Call of Duty games. I mean, for me personally, I'm not trying to annoy anybody, but for me personally, Black Ops 4 is the worst Call of Duty they've ever made. Blackout aside, Blackout is a fantastic mode, and I thought it was incredible. It was really fun. Fair enough, there's some connection issues with that damn thing, substantially, but all in all, the package was absolute garbage. I didn't like the zombies maps. Fair enough, I liked the Titanic map. I'll give it that. But the rest of it, it just felt mediocre to me at least. And the multiplayer was so shallow and empty. 4v4, come on, that's not Call of Duty. I don't care what anybody says. But what I've seen from this stream so far, I'm maybe an hour in, seeing the multiplayer, hearing what they're talking about, what they're bringing to the table for Black Ops Cold War. I am actually excited and looking forward to actually playing this. I don't know if I'm going to pre-order because I'm still quite apprehensive about what Treyarch's actually going to do here. I hope they've learned from Black Ops 4. I hope they've learned by the sheer quality leap that Modern Warfare is in the franchise. I'm glad that Warzone is connected to it. I'm also glad that Treyarch's not actually trying to handle the whole game by itself. Ravensoft is making the campaign, which sounds incredible, what they have said so far. Treyarch is making the multiplayer, and I believe it's making the zombies as well. So there's more, the work's spread out more evenly. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing more about the zombie stuff. Now, I don't know if there's zombie stuff in this stream. As I say, I'm not that far in. They haven't even mentioned it yet. I've got just past the part where they're talking about Warzone and the integration it's going to have concerning uh, the things you've bought and the things you've earned through Modern Warfare and Warzone will count in Black Ops Cold War and its connection to Warzone as well. Now, saying that, the fact that Warzone isn't changing hands, it's still being handled by who handles it now, which the name completely eludes me, is fantastic for me because it means that we can expect the same level of quality, pace of content, which, let's face it, Warzone has been supported insanely. It is massive, it is really fun, and it was one of the reasons that I was brought back into the whole playing Call of Duty again, because for a long time I never bought one. I kept either renting it or game sharing with a friend, and to be fair, Infinity Ward, I have to put my hat off to them because I used to say, no, that's not Infinity Ward anymore. Blah, blah, blah. X people aren't even there anymore. It's a totally different team. But years ahead, having went through the Battlefield 5 stuff with the rest of the Battlefield community, studios change over time. People come, people go. The dynamic changes. It was never gonna be the same Infinity Ward. Like, I didn't understand it at the time, but people come, people go. Like I said, people come, people go. Change jobs, get promoted out of certain roles they did before. So the fact that this Modern Warfare was such a high quality, the campaign, even though it was a reboot, the campaign was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. The multiplayer is absolutely sublime. I mean, those that actually know me know that when I played Call of Duty a lot, it was back on PS3, right? But it didn't matter where I lived. I always had NAT type issues with my internet while playing Call of Duty. Never understood why. My service provider could never fix it. I could never fix it. PlayStation always said there's nothing wrong with your console because there was actually one instance where I actually went, right, there's something wrong with this. I need to send it back and I need to check it, blah, blah, blah. And now that I have a little PS4, the same thing's happening again. So I would bring my son's Xbox One S down, boot up Warzone, no problems. Boot up Modern Warfare, no problems. On the PS4, I have rented Modern Warfare to just something to play on it. I don't have an Xbox right now. My One X, my kids damaged it. I'm not getting into that too much detail. Kids are kids, But got myself a wee PS4 Slim, Spider-Man, and yeah, so I wanted more to play. I installed the games I owned already and rented Final Fantasy VII Remake, Days Gone, and Modern Warfare. So as soon as I loaded up the Modern Warfare multiplayer, I was playing away and I kept saying to myself, something feels a bit weird about this. Am I just not used to the remote yet? Am I playing against someone dodgy? Because I fully support crossplay, so I always leave it on, multiplayer or not. But when I checked the settings and stuff, it was coming up not type moderate, not type strict. Now I understand moderate, like it's all right. It's not really going to bug it too much, but within an hour, it went from moderate to strict and back again. So clearly, there's something like I need to find a good port to open or something necessarily, which is something that I always did off the bat anyway for my consoles. When they're connected wirelessly, when they're connected through a LAN cable, there's no option for anything like that anyway. Uh, so that's one thing that I really, 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 really hope with the PlayStation 5 that it's not a problem. Uh, I just don't understand. Even Activision support can't help me. Even they're like, we don't know what to tell you. They don't know why it's doing it. They don't know how to stop it doing it because obviously you don't know what's causing a problem. There's no solution for it. Now, this video has been quite long compared to what I was actually planning for, but that's because there's so much to talk about. Now, one thing about the Series S reveal, which has me very intrigued, is that the processor is clocked higher than what I have read the PlayStation 5's processor is clocked at. Now, I don't know what impact that's going to have on games. I do know that the Xbox One was grossly underpowered compared to the PS4. Now, I don't understand how a £250 machine is going to have a faster processor in it than the PlayStation 5, which will be Sony's premier device at this point anyway. How's that going to affect how the games run? Is the third party games going to be, scaled down more than, because I know I'm struggling to put it into words because I don't want to sound like I'm saying the PlayStation 5 is going to be weak as sauce compared to the X, but because a lot of people are looking at the teraflop count and thinking that it will be, but the one thing which I can't stress enough is that they're both going to be incredible systems, and the people who work on them are incredibly talented.
Now, just wanted to add after video had been finished that I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch the video. I don't stress that enough sometimes, and basically, it's the whole reason why I still make content. So, again, thank you and have a wonderful day.